management, or sponsors. Are you ready? It is your time to take a few moments from your busy day to unwind, be inspired, and listen to the psychic insights of your host, empowerment psychic, Halley, Elise, a top 100 psychic, speaker, and author. Off air, be sure to connect with Halley at halleyelise.com. And now, the Halley Elise Show.
Welcome, everyone. I'm sorry to say you may hear Miss Froggy again. I know last week my voice was somewhat off, and unfortunately, it's not 100% yet today, so bear with me. The funny thing is, I had somebody contact me and say, "Is your melodious voice back yet?" And I had to say, sadly, no. Meanwhile, believe it or not, I did a speech today. There was no way of getting out of it. I figured that's okay. Let's see how well I can do with an audience as I'm sounding like Minnie Mouse or Miss Froggy. I'm not sure which one I like better, Minnie Mouse, Miss Froggy. I think I like Miss Froggy, something different. Okay, all kidding aside, I am available this evening if you want to call in for your psychic reading. It's 888-565-1470. Hopefully you can hear me well enough to understand me. Again, that number is 888-565-1470. I do want to mention that I'm already getting seats booked for the Psychic Gallery, which is the second one of 2018. There's only 3 this year. It will be on Wednesday, August 1st at 7:30 p.m. If you want to assure your seat, do go on my website, which is real easy. That's halleyelise.com. I'll spell that for you. It's HALLEYELISE.com. And I apologize. I hear my voice kind of going up and down and everywhere in between. The point, if you get your seats early, you're guaranteed entry, because since I'm only doing the galleries 3 times a year now instead of every month, we pretty much have a full house, and I would hate to have to turn anybody away. Always best to get your tickets in advance. Not only that, if need be, if I know the numbers of people that will be there, I can always make some arrangement to get more chairs or possibly use a different space. Whatever is needed, we can make happen if I know in advance. If you wait to the last minute, well, it becomes a little more complicated. I hope to see a lot of you there. It's always fun for me when I see folks that I haven't seen in many years, and I see new people. And what's really neat is getting the feedback when you know that you've predicted something and the person calls back later or comes to another gallery to share what had happened for them, how well it worked. I know the last gallery, there was a couple of ladies who had come to the gallery before, and they were delighted with certain things that had been forecasted for them. Kind of a neat thing. I hope you'll join us. And if you're thinking, okay, I've heard you talk about the Psychic Gallery, but I'm not quite sure what it is. Real simple. It's a compilation of stress management, energy play, psychic readings, and good feelings. It's approximately 2 hours. And I say approximately because on the rare occasion that we have a small turnout, I might shorten the time to an hour and a half, an hour, 45 minutes. Usually, though, we end up doing the full 2 hours because we have that many people. And I do my best to read for everybody in the audience. So far, I've managed up to 60 people. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean I want to be a crazy person and try to do everybody at the same time. By the same token, if you're there, I will do my absolute best to read for you. It's part of the fun, coming out and having the reading. So think August 1st, which is Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. And as I said, you can go online and get your seat, and that's halleyelise.com. The landing page or homepage, whatever the right term is, you will see something about the gallery. You just click. It'll take you to the next page, which gives you lots of information as well as your ability to make a payment. If you have any questions that you're not too thrilled about calling in with, but you wanted an answer and you don't mind typing in on Facebook, because I'm looking at the screen over here, I am live on Facebook Live on the Halley Elise show page. It says Radio and Web TV. And you can always type in whatever your question is. If it comes up on the screen, I'm happy to answer it for you. Okay. And I'm going to try to make it through this evening. Bear with me, folks. I feel like I need one of those megaphones. You remember being a kid in school, and every once in a while you'd have like a PE teacher who had a megaphone they put on their mouth and, of course, just blew everybody out of the water? I could probably use that today. I almost took with me to my presentation a battery-operated microphone where it's connected somehow to your phone with the Wi-Fi, and it amplifies all the sound. But I thought, it was a small enough group that I had hoped that all would be well, and thankfully it was. This is something I want to share with you, and it dawned on me after I did my presentation today. If there's something that you're uncertain about because you're not feeling yourself today, you didn't get enough sleep, or you don't feel like you're dressed appropriate, or your hair is not perfect, you're not prepared. Do it anyways. If you have an opportunity to do something that you know would have significance in your world, or perhaps in yours and someone else's, dive in. The absolute worst that could happen is you may not be as powerful as perhaps you thought you were going to be, or just the opposite. You might find that folks that review you turn around and say, wow. And the reason that I thought of this today was I was a little concerned because of the voice being so wonky. And I thought, well, I have to do my best. I made a commitment and I'm going to show up. You would be surprised at how many people came up to me afterwards and said they really loved listening to me, which is really funny considering how I sound. Yet it wasn't because of the tonality or the depth of the voice or the volume. I had 4 people come up to me and say it was because they felt I was engaged with them. And to me, that's what it's about. If I'm doing a presentation on stress management or tapping into your own intuitive ability to enhance your business, or possibly on just learning how to breathe in difficult situations, whatever it is, that's of benefit to the people that are there. And I want to do my best to connect with them, to engage with them, because if I do, then hopefully they remember that material and they take it home. Today was actually something very different, though, and I had a ball. I had to come up with something that was funny. And there was actually someone in the room counting how many times people laughed. I thought that was kind of interesting. That was a first. I guess the idea was to see if I qualified for doing another presentation that was funny. I thought back to all the different times that in my life animals have surprised me, or there have been hysterical interactions at one level or another. Took that and created somewhat of a montage of stories about animals, and each one built on the other in respect to how funny it was or the occurrences that happened. The entire time I was thinking, oh, please let me be heard, because it wouldn't be funny if nobody hears what you're saying. And yet, as I said, people felt that I engaged my audience. The timer who kept track of how many times I made people laugh came up to me afterwards and gave me a thumbs up. She was delighted, said that how did she put it? She counted the number and she was happy to count every single time that people laughed. I thought that's kind of a neat thing, because I'm not necessarily known for speeches with humor that encompass the entire time. I do try to put in some humor, but it was kind of interesting to do an entire presentation just with humor. I kind of liked it. Very uplifting. And if you're wondering, okay, why is she going on about her speech and the humor? And because it's the idea of doing something different, not my norm. What's not your norm? What is it that you can do that's different, that's better, that's bigger? What is it that you can take a chance on? I had a client this morning that I spoke with on the phone. Yes, believe it or not, still talking with clients. And she was having some difficulty with things in her world. I always try to make suggestions that feel right because I'm not going by psychology, I'm not going by counseling, I'm not even going by common sense. I allow the information to move through and then share. The short version is I suggested some things and she was cute. She says, I see how that could work. And I want to tell you that some of the things that you've said to me before the last time we spoke have really been helpful. And I thought, awesome. Awesome that she was willing to try something that was out of her comfort zone to make a change in her life. And she was seeing positive results. So here again, there's a reminder. If there's something that you want to do, even if you don't think you're prepared, try it anyways. What is the absolute worst thing that can happen? Now, obviously, common sense should be used. For instance, I would not jump out of a plane without a parachute. I would just try that to try it. But you know what works. You know if there's something in front of you that's calling you, move through the fear anyways. Move through the doubt. Move through the idea that it's not perfect, that it doesn't look exactly the way that you want it to, and just do it. Nike always talks about do it anyway. That's been their theme, their logo for a while. I should say attached to their logo, that little slash that they have. And I think when people hear that, they usually relate to individuals who are athletic, individuals who are on a team, individuals who have to accomplish something. They're very goal-oriented. And the truth is, it doesn't have to be like that. You can move through things in your personal life. You can move through things in your business life simply by making up your mind to do it anyway. If someone says something to you about you can't, who are you going to believe? Are you going to believe them? Or are you going to believe yourself? Remind yourself of times that you did accomplish something. Remind yourself of instances, even if you're only 3 years old and you have a memory of doing something great. Remind yourself of those things. That energy that you've experienced, you can tap into at any time. It's not limited to what was. It's not limited to what's going on now, and it is not even limited to what is to come. It is more about you. Are you centered? Are you holding presence of mind where something that has value to you, you're willing to act upon? Give it some thought. Just a thought to ponder here that even if you think you can't, you probably can. There's the old adage about what you think is true, and if you think you can or you think you cannot, that's true. I think it goes further than that. I believe that it's not just what you think, but it's what do you really hold true inside. If you can even identify with a figure who's had difficulty, but they've accomplished the thing that you want to do, use them as your mentor, not because you have to call them or write them, in your mind. Einstein was amazing. He would close his eyes and go into a quiet state, see himself seated at a table with mentors that he really thought a lot of, coming into the space, sitting down at the table with him and giving him information. He would take that information and work with it. He had phenomenal results. We're going to take a quick break. And again, if you'd like to call in this evening for a reading, it's 888-565-1470. I'm going to let you know if you're not calling because you think I'm going to strain my voice. I'm talking anyways. So give a call in. I'd be happy to answer your questions. We'll be right back.
This is your empowerment psychic, Halley Elise, one of the top 100 psychics in America. For over 30 years, I have offered psychic readings, programs, spiritual guidance, and other life skill techniques. As our lives have become more complicated, we often reach for answers. Who are we? Where are we headed? Are we pointed in the right direction? In addition, we often are concerned for our loved ones. I have helped thousands of people navigate their life circumstances through different modalities of spiritual and intuitive guidance. Call me at 561-755-2166 and allow me to further explain how I may assist you in clearing the path of yesterday so today and tomorrow will be a success. Call me at 561-755-2166 or visit my site, HalleyElise.com. That's HalleyElise.com.
You have been listening to Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise, a top 100 psychic. She is your connection to all things spiritual, psychic, and empowering. Your guide to peace and wisdom. For a private appointment off air, call 561-755-2166. Now, back to the Halley Elise Show with Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise.
Welcome back, everyone. I was just thinking while we were on break that a couple weeks, maybe it was 3 weeks, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, I had offered to send you a booklet if you had contacted me. And I just want to let the folks know who did reach out that you haven't been forgotten. I just took ill right after that one show, and it's been one thing after another. And the truth of the matter is, I haven't been to the post office. I went to the grocery store for the first time yesterday in weeks. I've primarily been working when I can, when I could muster up the voice, and then have been going home. I just wanted to let you know you haven't been forgotten. I do have you folks on my list, and I hope to get the booklet out to you in the next day or two. So thank you. I appreciate your patience. Before the break, I was talking about you have the ability to do whatever it is that you have in mind to do, and that fear should not be a consideration. It really should be more a matter of, do you want it? We often hear about people who move beyond circumstances. For instance, we hear about people who are ill, and they're told, you're going to have a month, go ahead, go home and tidy up your affairs. And 10 years later, they're still kicking because they told the doctor, see you, bud, I'm not listening. And they went, researched, and did things to help themselves. Now, does that work every single time? No. I think there is a big part of genetics. There's a big part of complete mindset. There's a big part of diet and sleep and all of those other factors. Though, truly, the mind, which is not the brain, but the mind, that part of you that is your higher consciousness, that's connected to the divine, as well as to your physical presence. If that is in alignment with what you truly want, then you will have it. And that brings me to the law of attraction. There have been so many different books and films and people talking about what it is and how you do it. And so often they leave out steps. They say, just focus on it, and ta-da, it appears. The universe likes action. And I truly want to let you know that, because if you're thinking, well, I thought about it and I felt about it and I dream about it, but it hasn't happened, where is it that you can take some action? For instance, if you want to meet Miss Right or Mr. Right, but you never go out and you're not on any site that has any sort of social interaction, I'm not even talking about like a love site, but you keep to yourself and you don't socialize, then no matter what you're focusing on, the probability of somebody coming to you immediately is very, very small. It's not impossible, but it truly is very small. You have to take a look at what is it that you can do to make your dreams come true. What is it that you can do to make things happen? For instance, if you created a vision board, I prefer to call them treasure maps because they're like life treasure maps. If you have something that has all your visions put together, that vision of health, that vision of love, that vision of business, of acclaim, whatever it is that you desire, and every time you look at it, it's a wow to you. It raises your vibration. It creates an electrical charge, a frequency that is actually sent out into the world. Yet, if you create it and you look at it once and you think, wow, when you put it in the closet and never look at it again, how often are you actually creating that frequency? How often are you sending out that energy into the world? You're not. Where is it that you can make a change so that you have the ability to take action? If you want a raise and you've never asked for a raise, then the people you work for might assume that you're fine where you are, that you don't want anything more, that you don't need anything more. And if you're envisioning that raise, and again, are doing nothing, perhaps you need to revisit that. Give a little thought. And this applies to everything that you want to attract. There's also the law of reciprocity, which is one of my favorites. It goes along with the idea of karma and dharma. It goes along with the idea of what you put out, you get back. And it is true. People go, oh, that's a bunch of hogwash. I do nice things for people all the time, and people suck and they don't do anything for me. Well, as soon as you say they suck, they don't do anything for me, you just canceled out all your good. Let me strongly suggest, that if you're doing good, do it because it's in the moment. Do it because it makes you feel good. Do it because it will help somebody. Be content with that. Don't do it because you know that the law of reciprocity is going to bring something back. All you need to do is be who you are. Do your best to be the best version of who you are. For instance, if you've been working really hard at something and you've been really focusing and you're taking action and you're not seeing results and you're thinking, you know what, this is just nonsense. Nothing's happening. Then what you do is you deflate all the work that you've done. Doesn't make sense. Instead, adapt the idea that I've already done everything that I need to do. Now I'm just waiting on the universe to deliver it to me. And I look forward to it coming as quickly as possible. Or you could even say something as simple as, I've done all the work that I need to do, and now the universe brings it to me. There's different philosophies on whether you should date something or not. I believe when it comes to goal setting, that's where the date comes from. Yet, if you're focusing on manipulating energy, and when I say manipulating, in a positive way, that you're raising your own energy, you're putting out, and sounds corny, but good vibes into the world, that should be done because it is uplifting, not because you know there's something on the other end. Allow yourself to get into that groove. For instance, if you wake up and you find you're stressed and you don't really want to go to work or take care of the kids or walk the dog or whatever, is there anything that you could think of at the moment that would shift the way that you're feeling? Was there a happy time that you enjoyed work? Was there fun one morning when you were getting the kids ready for school? Did the dog do something silly that made you laugh in the last year? It doesn't have to be from that moment again. The idea is allow yourself to gather your best. And I'm not saying that if you're dealing with sadness or depression to ignore it. I'm simply saying be open to allowing it to shift for you. There are a lot of people in our world that walk around so sad, and I have heard recently, again, about a suicide. And it just blows my mind how often you hear about suicides. And these are people that when you look at them, you go, wow, they're beautiful, they're vital, they're healthy, they're fit, they're economically sound, they have a good love life, they have a nice car, they have a nice house, and then they take their own life. And a lot of these people are, relatively speaking, young people, 45, 50, 60. Not people that have been in a bad relationship for many years, not people who are down on their luck, but people who from the outside look to be doing well. But you don't know. You never know what's going on inside of someone. And if you strive to be your best for you, that feeling, that comes across to other people. When you walk into a space and you smile and it's a legitimate smile, even if somebody is unhappy, they're going to feel that warmth. They're going to get a sense of that pick-me-up. I'd like to challenge those of you who are listening in this evening. Perhaps for the following week, you can walk around and make eye contact and smile to at least 5 people that you normally wouldn't do that with. See what sort of reaction you get. I'm always amused that when I do that and someone grimaces, I just laugh because I think to myself, wow, I'm smiling and they're grimacing. How sad. How sad that they didn't take this opportunity to make a connection. How sad they didn't have this opportunity to lift their spirits, even for a moment. The majority of the people, though, when you smile, they smile back. I've actually had people come and touch me on the shoulder and say thank you. It's fascinating to me how everybody is so different, and yet we're really, truly all alike. We all want to be loved. We all want to feel important, special. We want to feel that we fit in our world. If you're not feeling that way, please keep in mind there are self-help organizations. There are organizations that you can reach out to. All you have to do is call 800 or 411 for information to get any of the local numbers or even an 800 number. Call a friend. Take a moment to reach out to somebody if you're feeling that down, if you're feeling that lost, and you're not seeing that you're able to move beyond it. Instead of thinking about leaving this planet so soon, reach out. Let somebody be there for you. You would be surprised at how often people show up in your life. I know we have just a moment here, but I'm telling you a very quick story in my next 40 seconds. At one point when I was very ill, I had an acquaintance show up in such a magnificent way that we became good friends, and we are still good friends to this day. You never know how somebody's going to respond. If you need something, be okay to ask. I know that's really tough, and yet it's very powerful. Have an empowered, blessed week, everyone. Hopefully next week I will have a real voice instead of Miss Froggy. Be blessed. Bye-bye.
Remember to tune in every Tuesday on WNN at 9 p.m. for more peace, inspiration, and psychic phenomena with empowerment psychic Halley Elise, Top 100 Psychic.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of